So in this video, I'm going to explain the federal budget. What do you mean by federal budget? What leads to the federal deficit or surplus? So let's start. So here's the government budget. So we have to be familiar with the concept of budget deficit and budget surplus. So let's see what do you mean by budget. Let's see first what do you mean by budget first. Like generally speaking, budget means revenue minus expense. This is the general meaning of budget. So whenever we apply this general concept on the government or the federal government, so the main source of revenue for the federal government is taxes. So for the revenues, tax revenues. And the main source of expenses for the federal government is the government spending, which I explained before in the previous video. Government spending includes spending on the defense, on the education, on the infrastructure, on the science. So this expenses, so this is government spending. Okay, so budget deficit means simply, so if we subtract government spending from taxes, if the budget deficit, if the budget is negative, so we have a budget deficit. If we have a positive number, so we have a budget surplus. So if the revenue which is collected by the federal government is exceeding the government spending, so this means we have budget surplus. On the other hand, if the tax collected is not covering the government spending, we will end up with a budget deficit. Here I'm just mentioning like a couple of websites. Feel free to click on this website if you want to see the latest numbers of the current deficit in the United States. Okay, so what is the relation between the budget deficit or surplus and the expansionary fiscal policy? Let me remind you with what I said about the expansionary fiscal policy in a previous video. I said, so what are the tools, I said, of the fiscal policy? So let's say that FP stands for the fiscal policy. I said the tools of the fiscal policy is government spending and tax cuts, right? So if the federal government starts to implement an expansionary fiscal policy, so they will increase government spending and they will cut taxes. And if I want to write down again the formula for the federal budget, so it's tax minus government spending. So if we start an expansionary fiscal policy and by cutting taxes and increasing spending, so we should expect that one of the most important consequences of the expansionary fiscal policy that we will end up with a deficit. So a budget deficit is a natural outcome of an expansionary fiscal policy. Let's apply this in the real life. So I explained before in the previous video the Obama stimulus package in 2009. So let's see what was the effect. What was the effect of the 2009 stimulus package on the federal budget? So remember, like when I said the stimulus package was 787 billion, and this includes government spending and tax cuts. Okay, so the effect on expenditure. So, and this here the effect on revenues, which is the effect on tax. So this is tax, and this is government spending. So as you can see in 2009, as you can see, the government spending jumped and then starts to decline after the financial crisis. And then the same for the tax revenue because of the stimulus package. So the amount of tax collected declined here in 2009, okay, up to 2011 before it starts to peak again. Okay, because of these two tools, this will be the impact on the federal budget. So these are the tools of the fiscal policy. And this is the impact on the budget, as you can see. So here the budget starts to run into deficit. here, and this was the deficit here. And as you can see, like the federal budget ran the largest peacetime deficit in history in 2008, 2009 because of the Obama stimulus package. Okay, let's see a quick example here about the federal budget. So this is here, this is tax, and this is government spending. So you are supposed to calculate the government spending, whether there's a government deficit or surplus. I said before the formula is tax minus government. So 170 minus 200, this is 30. This is an easy question. 180 minus 200, this is 20. This is minus, minus, this is minus 10. This is 0. This is positive 10. This is positive 20. This is positive 30. So here we have deficit. And here we have budget surplus. And here it's break even, which means the amount of the tax collected is exactly equal to the government spending. Okay, I hope you found this video helpful. So see you on the next video. Bye-bye.